Dude, what kind of American psycho ass do you gotta be to like try to pick up chicks on Bumble Business?
I'd be the most jack-offing at that time.
So I proceeded to backhand him.
We are live. Welcome back to A Couple of Fellas. Not live when you're listening. Introduce yourselves, folks.
Hey, if you don't know me by now, that's kind of weird. I've been on every single episode.
Could be a new listener.
Crazy,
Way to
but
alienate people.
I'm Steve, and returning guest, first ever guest, third time guest.
Ooh, that's a series of records.
Yeah.
Hamza,
Oh.
doxing myself a little bit.
Yeah, do we need to bleep that? Both parts? Just beep, beep.
Probably just the far end.
The far end, gotcha. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Right.
The
Word.
first letters and the last ones.
It's Steve's turn to edit.
Gotcha. Perfect.
Yeah, dude, welcome back to the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
How have you been? Moved around some? Got a new job? I think Steve's more up to date. Catch me up.
Yeah, so I think the last time we were all like together was about a year ago, like in December, when I think the 9th episode of the podcast. So
Dang.
yeah, right.
Was it really? Was that the last time all three of us hung out?
Yes.
Not
Was
even
that
once since
before
then?
or
There was
after
one since then.
Barcade?
It was in the same month, I think. Similar.
What a blur that time was.
Barcade
Yeah.
might have been January. Who even knows?
We lived fast and we died young.
It could be
Some of us
anything.
did die, but the rest of us are stronger for it.
We could do anything in those months.
Absolutely. But yeah, so what a little update on me. Basically, I got a new job. I left your company and
Congrats.
basically got a new company that does the exact same thing, but just over the surface of the water instead of underwater.
Okay.
So like
okay.
we do hovercrafts.
Yeah.
Living in the city of Boston. It's
Very nice.
Dude, how's the big city, my boy?
honestly kind of sucks.
Really?
Well, it's COVID.
Yeah.
Oh,
well,
true.
not even that, but just like it's
You saying Boston sucks?
a little bit. I'm gonna have a hot take. And
What the
say,
fuck you saying about Boston?
Fucking sucks.
No,
man.
that's a New York accent. I can't. Yeah.
Anyway,
The fuck you saying about
I get-
Boston?
I guess that means you continue roasting Boston. Go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, it's very at least for me, I'm in a community that's very Irish Catholic, and I haven't seen a single other. It's I almost describe it as the same basic white girl copy pasted again and again. That's how my
I
roommates
think I know the
describe
type.
Right, right.
Yeah, it's not horrible. It's great that there's a lot of young people because it's 30 universities and schools in
Yeah.
that
Something
city alone.
Crazy.
Yeah, that is
Yeah,
nuts.
it's nuts.
That's New England shit.
Arguably the college city.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah,
I think
really.
it really does stand head and shoulders above like any other city. Really.
And I think my biases come from not being in college and not being able to experience the college
Yeah.
experience,
Right.
which
Well, revel in the knowledge that none of those college goers are really getting the college experience either.
this is very true. We graduated on time at the right time.
Oh, geez. Yeah, you're talking
Yeah.
about now specifically.
Oh, I
would not want to be a student during all this. That's why I'm aiming to be a student during all this.
Yeah, exactly.
actually my girlfriend's. I didn't realize, but she just told me this. She was gonna take the MCAT in June.
Hey,
Yeah, just kind of like off the cuff because she's low key a genius.
that's awesome.
I know. Like she ordered I guess there's like prep material or
Oh
books.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Are you, Zane Cook, taking the MCAT soon, or is that like...
Already done.
Oh, you already did it.
Way
Oh, yeah.
done, yeah.
Okay.
I took mine in 2019.
Not
and
only
that's
done,
valid.
but smashed, I would say.
Excellent.
Good enough to not take it again.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's what we're aiming for.
See, I was
He's
confusing
modest, folks.
the...
He's humble.
Gotcha. It was the medical school application process that I was confusing it with, like that you had.
Yes, that I am currently doing.
Oh,
It's not a blast, but I do have an interview with UConn this coming Friday. My
Hey-yo.
4th interview of the cycle. So
represent.
not a terrible turnout so far. We'll see how it goes.
Seriously.
Honestly, shouldn't be a terribly difficult interview to nail. I have done a lot of UConning in my days, and I like them very, very much. Very familiar from a patient and student perspective. I
Excellent.
think it'd be a great fit. Hopefully they like me.
Yeah, and plus you're such an excellent like articulator, and you can pretty much talk yourself into any job. I feel like
We
you
would
could
hope.
convince me.
It's gone okay in the job market since I left school, but this is the first time testing out my newly developed professional articulation abilities for medical school reasons.
That's true.
We'll see. No stress. Not even a bit.
No,
I mean-
we're just chilling over here, med school shit. You know how it is.
Yeah, I mean, as long as an outsider listening in, the way you were describing all of the kind of medical school, I think there was the essay prompt where you had to describe like a real world problem and how you would kind of tackle it. That was really fascinating to me, and I think you should do more of that.
On the podcast or just in my essays?
I don't know, maybe a little bit of both, but
I'm not a huge fan of writing essays for pleasure, but if the need or prompt comes up.
Yeah, really. One that
What-
really strikes you.
If your girlfriend's going to take the MCAT, then she's probably planning to start the application process, I would guess, this coming May to start in 2022.
I actually don't know. I should probably know more of these things, but
You can take the MCAT a couple of months after you start applying. Like if she were to say want to begin in the fall of 2022, that application cycle starts in May of 2021. You could still take the MCAT in like June, July, maybe even August, and it will count for that cycle. So I'm not sure when she's planning, but she could hypothetically be starting in May, in which case, buckle down. It's like a 12, 13 month process.
oh dang.
Yeah, like the AMCAS, which is effectively the primary application, the first one, the common app for medical schools, opens in May. You can submit it in May, and then weeks to months later, you get secondaries back. Submit those as quickly as you can.
Yeah.
Weeks to months later, you might hear about an interview or getting waitlisted or what have you. Weeks or months later, you might get results on the interview. Still weeks or months might go by without that. You don't really hear until like, aside from rejections, which you get sprinkled throughout the whole time, March, April, May of the year you would matriculate. So you begin in the year beforehand. It's a long fucking
Dude,
haul.
yeah, this is
My
such a
gosh.
headache to consider. Like, I can't imagine.
It's just been like the background noise, the universe cosmic radiation in my life
right.
for 8-9 months now.
Oh.
Since March or April last year, I started writing the essays that I knew would be on that primary app. And yeah, it's pretty much just been cycles of letters and essays and interviews the whole way through.
The road to
And
doctor
waiting.
is long and winding.
The easy parts of the process are when you're just waiting to hear back about decisions that could affect the rest of your life and career trajectory with no guaranteed deadline on when they tell you.
Wow. Isn't that just how life is sometimes? Like,
Yeah, really boiled down into the application process.
I'll say
They nailed
not
it.
often for me. It's not often like that.
Yeah, the professional engineering life looks very attractive. I'll
Yeah,
say.
dude. It's not so bad.
yeah,
Doing
I think we
okay,
have
young
it easy,
bachelor
not
like
gonna
yourself.
lie.
Yeah, I mean, so do you? I want to ask you, like, honestly, do you think that this new job is like truly different from your last job?
Not at all. I think,
Really?
in fact, it's easier because I know exactly what I have to do every few days, and I'm almost babysat through most of the process
Really?
because I am one of 2 electrical engineers in all of our Boston office, which is, it sounds like a lot of responsibility, but
It really does.
it's not. I think
What is the misconception that I have? Because I assume there's fewer people.
More
Each
responsibility.
person needs more expertise and responsibility. You say with so few people, the responsibility drops. How is that possible?
Because of the babysitting?
that's the thing. Because I am a junior in my position, proportionately the amount of work that gets adopted by my senior is a lot higher. He is now given a lot less time to focus on me, which gives me more time to fuck off. So
Brain blast, dude.
it's like equating 1 is equal to 0 with like this convoluted
right.
uncorrect math.
Whereas
But
if there were more people, the work would be split up evenly amongst you. But when there's only 2 of you, one of you ends up taking essentially all of it.
the 80-20 principle
Yeah,
in
right.
full effect.
Wow.
And in full advantage for you.
Yes.
How about that?
So
Nice.
please do cut out my last name
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that my future employers don't.
Right. Of course.
We can handle that for you.
Yeah.
All right,
that's
at least for
easy.
the next 10 or so years till I retire.
Right.
We'll see.
Nice.
Yeah.
So what's your living situation in Boston? I'm always curious what people end up going with. Like a 1-bedroom, you got roommates, studio, what's up?
Oh, everyone, at least in my company, is always like perplexed by this, but I'm living in a house of 5 people, so I have 4 other roommates with a dog and all their girlfriends who will come in in and out. So
Right.
not very COVID
So
friendly.
between 5 and 9.
Not very COVID friend.
Not at all. And a dog sometimes.
Right.
Yeah, so the situation is interesting to say the least. It's a duplex, and we have that one half of the unit split up into 2 floors. But with that, we have the bottom floor and the basement. So 3 on the first floor, kind of like a living room, sort of like, I would say you have an entrance, 2 people live in that living room area with their bedrooms on each side.
Okay.
Hallway, the hallway's kind of like a kitchen.
What?
Yeah,
I'm
it's
going to stop you there.
Yeah. I know people who live in Boston. I'm just picturing their apartments. They have like 5 people who live there. I'm sure it's similar.
The hallway is a kitchen.
it's weird. It kind of thinks
Sounds weird.
yeah. When you inevitably in the future come through, I'll show you. And at the very end of all of that is my room, and then there's 2 guys downstairs.
So you said living in the city kind of sucks. What are you talking about there? And do you think that's like a COVID specific thing that it sucks?
I think the answer to that question depends on who you are. For me,
For you personally, yeah.
For me personally, I think it's definitely a lot harder to meet people. So my answer would change a lot if I knew people already in the city. And I'm
Get on Tinder for friends.
Tinder for friends.
Yeah.
Isn't that a thing on Bumble? Like you can
Yeah.
make friends on
And
Bumble.
business. I
Telling
guess,
your
is the thing.
girlfriend you're on Tinder for friends is a hell of a thing to explain, though. I don't know.
Unless she's into that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it could be
Also
the
an
start of something
option.
beautiful, but
Right.
that's the thing. It is genuinely for friends in this scenario, also.
Yeah.
You know what
It
I
might be a
mean?
better thing to ask permission than forgiveness.
I tend to go on the
Babe,
yeah.
no, it's just
Explain
Tinder
it
friends.
beforehand and
Hey,
clear
by
it.
the
I
way,
think. If I could suggest.
for the
Hey,
past 3
babe.
months,
Can I download Tinder friends?
Tinder for friends.
So
Is
Hamza,
there not like sorry to cut you off? Is there not like an app just for like meeting up friends that's
I'm
mainstream?
sure there is.
Because I
that's mainstream? No.
I can't think of it off the
Bumble
top of my
has
head.
a friends mode.
But
That's
do
for
you
when you
know
want to
anyone?
fuck, but you want some pretense to it.
I guess, yeah.
But you want to split the pizza or something. I don't know.
Bumble friends is for going Dutch on dates. Oh
Okay.
And
my
if you're lucky,
god.
go in Dutch oven.
Wait, isn't there also like a business mode one?
Yeah,
Like
that's the third part of Bumble.
it's Bumble Business.
It's probably
Bumble
not.
business.
Bumble Biz would be the best way to market that.
Oh, for sure.
I feel like that's
Worker
not what's.
bees.
I don't think that's what's
Oh, wow.
dragging the majority of their profits along.
Dude, what kind of American psycho ass do you gotta be to like try to pick up chicks on Bumble Business?
I think exactly that type.
Yeah.
We have friends who've majored in finance.
Oh my god. Yeah, dude. I actually just met this client on Bumble Business. Biggest sale I've had all year.
Stock hose.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
where you catch them.
Oh,
I saw a tweet that was
Bumble
the
Business.
stock market is just astrology for men,
Yeah.
and that feels
I like
pretty
that.
fitting.
Yeah. Yeah, people like to know
I
what
check
the
that
hell's
more than my
going on.
horoscope, I will say.
You check your stocks?
Yeah,
Yeah, they mean something.
the
at
very
least.
yeah, the very few that I have, most made without my own decision involved.
Yeah, right.
Isn't that or not advised to have that outsourced unless it's from a professional? Usually.
It's
Yeah,
from
these are
people
like
he
friends or
trusts,
family.
Yeah.
Okay, fair.
People who
fair.
dabble in it much more seriously than I do, and who make more informed decisions than I would.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
There's a couple of people like that where I'm like, all right, I'll take your input.
Yeah.
Any
Dude,
Bitcoin yet?
No, I don't have any Bitcoin, although, damn you wish.
every time, dude.
It's too late.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying,
It's
dude.
too fucking
Till
late.
the next crash,
Yeah, pretty much.
then it will inevitably rise again. I think we have learned.
Yeah, it's on
Well,
this.
it's almost like at its cap, isn't it? Like at its like theoretical limit.
You,
who's to
you
say?
think I know that shit?
I think I've heard
That's
that.
more imaginary than the real imaginary money we use.
Right.
But yeah, I guess there is like a theoretical limit to the amount of Bitcoin that can be mined, and we are approaching it.
One concept about
mined.
blockchain currency that I
Yeah.
don't understand is where the mined currency comes from, why it has to be mined, and how that number was set. Like, was that the
Okay.
Satoshi guy who originally created Bitcoin? He created a theoretical limit, and then how did it then get buried so that it needs to be mined for access? I don't understand why you need to mine. I understand. I've had what mining Bitcoin is explained to me. I've watched some videos. I get that part, but I don't understand why it has to happen that way.
Okay. If you would like, I could go into the very limited knowledge I do have from my preliminary research, but the reason why it has to be mined rather than what mining is that you need some sort of intermediary to kind of do the like computer back.
I know it takes a lot of computing power to mine, and that people have set up big arrays of computers to work specifically on mining because that drives it faster, and therefore you make more money. But I think, still backing up a step, why is the Bitcoin in such a state that it needs to be mined? I'm not saying, like, why do you need to use these... Why is it buried, hypothetically, in the first place?
I don't think mining is the right term to kind of describe what it's...
Well, unfortunately, it's the one they use.
So,
it is
so mining, as I've had it explained to me, is basically like your computer is just doing computations.
Yeah.
I think it has to do with some sort of like encryption technology and stuff.
Yep.
And like, yeah, it's so hard. Like, I'm speaking out of my ass. Probably anything more detailed I say. But I guess when they say it's basically doing math problems, is eventually the full set of math problems that can be encompassed by whatever this Bitcoin algorithm is will be depleted. At which point you will still be able to share Bitcoin.
It's like a computer-generated series of problems, and all of those getting solved unlocks the hypothetical Bitcoin from that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Each problem solved unlocks Bitcoin, and the problems get more and more complex. And that, like, as like the
that's a
earlier
beautiful
ones get
system.
solved. Yeah, but once it's mined, it can still be traded and stuff like, decentralized currency, all that kind of stuff.
So you could be getting it from the source with high-powered computing arrays, or you could be trading and buying it like a stock.
But what I wonder is, will that, like, because right now I think that's one of the reasons the price is spiking so much is because we are nearing that limit and people want to get in while they can. My question is, what happens when we hit the limit? Does the price just kind of plateau and, like, it is just this valuable or whatever as, like...
I think that's the
Or
best
does
case
everyone
scenario.
immediately lose interest and it crashes and everyone wants to get rid of it?
So one thing I do know for sure is once the miners have mined the last part of the Bitcoin, the incentive to mine has dropped significantly. And one big problem in the crypto community is that what's keeping everyone going and sustaining the mining process after the last bit has been mined? Because what happens with transactions, if I were to give you a piece of Bitcoin, a very small fraction of that gets transferred to the miners as like a reward. So it's kind of like the transaction fee that's used, and it's much less valuable than actually mining an entire like golden nugget of Bitcoin. So the problem I was alluding to is, how do we incentivize miners to keep this system going once there's no more major rewards left? So
Heard any solutions?
Maybe they would just move on to some other cryptocurrency. I don't know.
I feel like the way I've heard it explained is that while there are all of these branch and fringe currencies, and while they have sort of niche and limited roles in popularity, they sort of all trace their value and lineage to Bitcoin in a manner. Like, apparently most of these don't really operate in this blockchain economy independent of Bitcoin and the price and effects of Bitcoin.
Oh yeah.
So
it's a mothership for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Mothership is a good way to put it. So when that runs out, I don't know. That's a good point. I feel like the best case scenario is that it plateaus. The more likely case is that it enters maybe some more consistent cyclical thing, like regular currencies would.
That's the thing.
Or if that drives interest to it now that it is, let's say, less volatile, will that make prices go up because more people are like,
or will it make adoption of it more widespread?
Yeah.
I think that it needs to not be Bitcoin because nobody wants to pay for a coffee with 0.0000623 Bitcoins and to do the fucking math on that at any given point. Like, with the people who are huge proponents of blockchain and who have really like moved all of their transactions and expenses over to that, especially kind of to prove the concept that it works. I don't think that will catch on in popularity, at least not in its current format. Again, because it's so inaccessible. Like, the penny is stupid, but ones, fives, tens, and 20s make sense to pretty much everyone. And that is not nearly as intuitive when you're dealing with digital decimals.
Right. I figure as a matter of like user interface, though, they could just like convert it to dollars and you would never see like.
Or like standardize it. Like,
I think it's more likely we're going to end up with national cryptocurrencies, which some nations are already developing. Like the digital US dollar, or whatever the hell they'll end up calling it. Basically just the US dollar, but in blockchain currency, controlled by the state.
They have something similar to that called Tether, which is tethered to the value of the $1.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Never heard of that.
Wait, explain this Tether thing.
It feels like it defeats the purpose of having a separate currency.
I think the point of it is to act like a bridge for, I guess, easy. Like, one of the problems is once you have a Bitcoin, or if you trade to an altcoin, it gets really tricky because if you don't have a buyer, you're stuck with this currency that you can't really do anything with. And until we solve that problem, it's never going to get widespread. So Tether kind of follows the value of the dollar for conversion purposes to, like, I don't know why it's good, but it exists.
Yeah.
And we don't need to know why it works.
Fair enough.
At the very end of the day, I just buy it and I hold.
Yeah.
Like 5G.
Yeah.
What's that called in like the trading community or the trading communities? People who just like
HODL?
Who just like stay on a stock forever, like they never sell.
Oh, hodlers.
Hodlers? What is
Hold on for
dear life. That's it. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Get your Wolf of Wall Street ass acronyms out of here.
Yeah, I definitely hodl. I never feel like selling anything, but I'm also not terribly active in the stock market.
Agreed.
And I kind of wish I was. I realized that, like, I don't know. It seems like a good thing to be doing right now. And there's so many times where you hear stories about, stop me if I've talked about this on the podcast before.
But like, retrace your steps.
Yeah, okay. There's like so many times where I'm thinking, like, you hear a story like, oh, this company's stock price went up. And it's like, oh, yeah, duh. Like, I should have known that, like,
Tesla.
PS5 comes out and all of a sudden Sony stock skyrockets. Like, yeah, duh. Of course it does. Like, I knew it was sold out, like, at midnight the night pre-orders were whatever. And so every time one of those things happens, like, I feel dumb. Like, oh, I should have been there.
That's that retrospect bias going against you. Like, if like in this moment right now, could you think of the infinite possibilities of companies and stocks and whatever the hell you can buy?
I feel like there's fairly obvious trends, even to people as uneducated in the workings of the stock market, such as us. At least the fellas. I'm not necessarily speaking for you. But there's some trend to it, and a lot of it does make sense, especially if it is in fields that you are either personally or professionally involved in. Like, for example, I do a lot of work with medical product regulation stuff, so it follows pretty logically that me knowing when these new regulation dates, like when they come into effect, I know that that's going to do something probably pretty predictable to all of these medical product companies. Steve pays plenty of attention to the video game world, as broadly as we want to define that. Ergo, the PS5 thing is something that, yeah, I think is pretty apparent and predictable, even for people like us. Maybe it's tricky on the long haul or with startups or with like more obscure type companies, but I feel like there is some wisdom to the euphemism of like invest in what you know, or whatever the phrase may be.
Yeah.
Or like invest in what you buy. Like if you use Netflix or Amazon, you should buy those stocks as well because it's a product you are kind of familiar with and use it on an everyday basis.
I would take that one with a grain of salt depending on how niche the thing is. Like, for example, I bought these sweet microphones on Amazon, but I don't think that it might be the wisest choice for me to go and invest money in the company that made them. I think this is like a niche and specific enough thing. I feel like the invest in what you use is maybe a stand-in for invest in what you see society using. Like what is being adopted as the primary.
Right.
Shop local, dude. You're you know that? You're a monster, dude. Shop local. People who haven't had IPOs. People who are not beholden to their shareholders. That's what you got to be using, and you can't be in the stock market because there is no just consumption under capitalism.
Amen.
Change my mind.
Shout out Stephen Marks.
Dude, yeah, I don't know. I've been in too deep a political rabbit hole recently.
I saw your YouTube history.
Yeah. I don't know. That shit can be addicting too.
Tongue scraper videos.
Oh god.
Oh, like consuming political like.
No,
Yeah,
watching
just like-
videos of people using tongue scrapers.
Well, that was one of the
Ooh.
things I had. Oh god, yeah,
Tell me
that was
more.
gross. So,
Oh, like all the stuff that builds up on your.
yeah. But dude, this
Ooh.
was bad for me. And
Now I'm conscious about it.
I have pictures that I can show you guys.
Oh boy.
But yeah, I had this like my tongue was like real yellow. And like I have pretty good oral hygiene, right? Like I brush my teeth twice a day. I floss every night. Like I'm pretty good about that shit. And I use mouthwash a decent amount. But yeah, anyway,
Respectable.
I had like this like yellow stuff like on my tongue, like, and it was like pretty gross, and like my throat kind of hurt a little bit. I was like, oh god, what is this? And so I look it up, and apparently it's a fungus.
Oh man.
Tongue fungus.
And so
A tungus.
I was like, oh,
I'm
this
not
is
comfortable with that.
this is pretty gross. And I remembered back in college, a friend of ours was telling me a story about how when he was on antibiotics, he was like smoking cigarettes, and he started to have a tongue fungus. And I was like, oh, that's right. So I reached out to him. I was like, bro, I think I got tongue fungus. What do I do? And so he told me, 1, buy a tongue scraper. 2, eat probiotics. And 3, I forget what the third thing was. But I went out. I was like Googling tongue scrapers. That's a whole nother thing that I won't bore you with the details of. But go out, get one of those, some antiseptic like mouthwash, whatever, gargle that down, and my tongue has recovered. But I think the root cause of it was vaping. So I've been like,
Bum, bum,
Who
bum.
would have thought?
Yeah. So I've been like a week clean right now. I'm going for an indefinite period of time at this point. But yeah.
Until Trump's Twitter suspension is lifted.
Yeah, I'm not vaping in protest for our president. He deserves nothing less than that, than absolute protest.
If he must suffer, I will suffer too.
Exactly. In solidarity.
All right, nice. Anyone have any church announcements? Anything you want to declare? Hamza's got a girlfriend. We've got that on the books. Steve? Any budding romances? We like to check in on that.
What happened with that one?
That one.
Oh.
With
The
eyebrows.
one from like a year ago?
Right.
Dedicated fan
I
right here.
think that I was just getting a lot more like friendly vibes and stuff, chemistry wise,
Okay.
and so like, yeah. So that's kind of donezo.
Aw.
It's okay. It's
Yeah,
fine.
You
got
don't need to
VR.
rush into anything.
Dude, I'm a kid with tongue fungus. What am I supposed to be doing talking to girls? Come on now. I'm figuring it out. I'm growing up.
Plus, you got this sweet new computer, double monitors,
Oh
and
my
VR.
God, dude,
you don't ever
yeah.
need to leave or get other human contact.
Yeah, I
We're-
love just sitting in it.
We're getting to a point where we won't need girls anymore. If you just if you can augment the reality to a point where
I won't need human contact ever again
Right.
of any sort.
I'm almost there.
Yeah, I am.
you
I'm
do all your
deep in
work
the
from
weeds.
home, you can get food delivered to your home.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a
You have a
shitty Black
bidet,
Mirror
like-
episode.
Yeah, bidet.
You never have to go
Once
out.
it's portable, you can just strap it on and there's a bag hanging off the end.
Yeah.
You never have to leave your setup.
Just get like a bunch
You
of
can
extension
definitely-
cords, a whole like system of pulleys around the ceiling.
Rube Goldberg the shit out of your apartment.
Yeah. Oh my god, model it all in VR so I don't bump into shit.
That's a
My
lot
friend
of effort
Caden
to
was
escape the world.
Actually, I'm not even shitting you. My friend Caden does most of his his work programming and video games and watching anime with us in VR because there's a system like
Big
you can,
screen beta. My buddy
Yeah.
from work
Oh,
does the
I've
same
seen
thing.
that,
He does
yeah.
most of his work with like the universe as the background behind the screen.
Yeah, like you can have a universe. You can do a haunted mansion,
You can do
which is
anything.
oh, it's crazy.
It's unbelievable.
Wow. He just chills in VR.
Yeah, I look at Discord and it's always VR, whatever it says, like under his status.
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, VR.
He's streaming that prawn.
Yeah, that's not something that I'm just trying to like chill in. That's like something I go in and come out of like
Yeah,
in very set intervals, I would say.
that's how it always
Of
starts.
6 to 12 hours.
Yeah, right.
Of a
Yeah,
couple
sometimes
days.
those intervals are long, but they are designed to end.
I definitely lose myself in those video games more than in any handheld game. Like, time will go by when I'm playing through a campaign of a VR game much faster than I realized.
Absolutely.
And much faster than any other game. What feels like 45 minutes is like an hour and 45 minutes. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
Whew.
Yeah, time moves differently in VR. It's
Also, you
nuts.
spend so much of the time focusing so that you can do the correct thing because, you know, it's not all really native yet.
Yeah.
Slower pace of games in a lot of places.
Hamza, we'll
Makes
throw
sense.
it on for you. Have you played VR before?
I have once about 3 years ago in an RA's room, and it was very tight.
Okay.
Ooh, this is going to be
Yeah,
good.
we'll set you up here. It's gonna be a fucking blast.
I'm ready.
Don't you worry about a thing, baby.
If you haven't checked out the different types of VR arcades, I don't know if those are a business allowed to operate during COVID, but yeah, just places that have a big row of VR systems set up.
Ooh.
Super fun, and affordable enough. If you go for an hour or two with some friends, it's no more than the movies would be. But
Oh, that's cool.
Super fun. Yeah.
Wow.
I'm hoping some of the bigger scale stuff, like I know in California there's a couple where it's like the whole warehouse is part of the VR thing. So the physical object, it's like more of a custom VR game.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll do like zombie ones or whatever, but you're running around in this whole warehouse where the VR overlay matches the physical objects,
Oh,
which
okay.
is
I like that.
just
I
the next
see.
level. That's so cool.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
these this sounds like it would have to be like a VR like absolute boutique experience. So I'm talking like foot trackers and like maybe one of those like chest things too.
Probably
like,
haptic vest or whatever.
yeah, like if you are leaving your house and paying, like this has got to like it's like going to the movies. Like you have the biggest screen and the loudest speakers.
Yeah. You're taking it to the next level.
Yeah,
Making an excursion out of something you could do at home to a lesser degree.
dude, are movie theaters gonna survive?
Not most. Definitely not all.
I
The
hope they do.
blockbuster
I like going to the
effect.
movies.
I wonder how that one lone blockbuster's doing.
Oh, there is one. Yeah.
Or did that shut down? The
I have
last
no
one
idea.
might have shut down in the
I
last
hope
year.
not. That's sad.
2020 might have taken the last
No.
blockbuster. We might have to
Ah.
fact check that after the episode.
After the episode, yeah. For now, it will be Schrodinger's blockbuster.
Speaking of breaking the fourth wall,
yeah.
did you watch our last episode by any chance, Hamza?
Of course I did.
Oh,
Every
good.
Monday, whenever you upload it, I'm
Monday
pretty
nights.
much on there.
9 p.m.
Yeah.
Oh,
Molly
Okay.
watches Tuesday mornings.
Yeah, I figure that's how
Religiously
most
now.
people
Shout
listen
out
or
to you.
watch.
But
yeah, what was I'm afraid to say I can't remember what it was about.
No, that's
Oh
fine.
wait, no,
We're
that
putting
was
you on
the
spot.
that was the tier list
Right.
of food mascots.
Yes.
exactly.
That was excellent.
I bring it up because I want to get your opinion on some of these. I want to know your strategies for taking down, say, the Kool-Aid Man. What's your
Okay.
fight instinct?
Or if there's any of our choices that you disagreed with.
I will say I'm going to go into this without referring to the podcast material. A, because I can't remember
Oh,
what you
yeah.
guys were talking about.
Should I pull up our tier list?
That might be. If you have it like accessible, that
Yeah,
might be a
Alt
nice
tab
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Pull it up on that one.
nice aid. But
I might only be on that computer, in which case I can throw it up on the TV.
Here,
but
Alright,
if
so
you
can
go
leave your
YouTube
mic for a
vamp,
sec.
yeah.
We can handle this.
awesome. So starting off the Kool-Aid Man, just as kind of like a geez.
Introductory battle.
He's made of glass, so I'm trying not to repeat any of the
Agreed,
things
but don't
I
forget.
remember.
I mean, if we overlap some, that's okay. Great minds and all that. But remember, it's got to be some type of incredibly well-tempered glass because he runs through cinder block walls. That's Cannon Feats from the commercials.
Okay, so his Mohs hardness scale is at least the equivalent of cinder block.
I mean, I guess so. Glass is technically like a viscous thing, right? But I guess we've probably figured out ways to make true solid glass. The point is, it's 6 inches of incredibly durable glass. If you've ever dropped like a Pyrex container, that shit will bounce, not shatter. Now imagine it being as wide as your fist is, or whatever, thick as your fist is wide. It's going to be a problem. That's all I'm
Right.
saying.
Now-
We ranked him as a fair fight. If you refer to this handy infographic, the tier list from last
This
episode.
is very well professionally done. This is a 100% true podcast
Thank
experience.
you. If you're watching the video version of this on YouTube, the tier list will be up now. So if you want to switch over to the YouTube video to get a reminder of where it ended,
Or catch up. Watch last week's episode if you missed it.
that too. But anyway,
trying
sorry
think of
to
this.
interrupt.
I'd say the way you describe it is he would probably most likely beat my ass. I don't think the Kool-Aid Man. I don't think I stand a goddamn chance.
Yeah, we might. So I remember our reasoning on that one was that
He's a one-trick
he's
pony.
kind of a one-trick pony. But are we overestimating our abilities to beat that trick, to beat that absolutely devastating trick?
I've played a lot of Dark Souls. If you got if you got that dive roll down, that's the phrase that crossed over.
Mm-hmm.
But unlike
you just
Dark
have to
Souls,
dive roll once. Like, he's not maneuverable. He just goes in one line, fast and hard. I think you can take one leg out with
okay.
anything, a trip, a swing.
But have you played Dark Souls recently? And do you remember how many deaths it takes to perfect that? Because I don't know. I don't think I can.
Withstand a blow. Half my respiratory organs were
I think I'll
destroyed.
just freeze from the sheer terror of.
Oh, yeah.
Right. That's just his intimidation tactic.
Yeah.
But also, he is an open-topped container of beverage. You literally only need to knock him over, and that's fight. Like, that's it. And there's a lot of ways to do that. By putting something harder than a cinder block wall in front of him, knock him off course, trip him up, bola his legs. Like, all you got to do, when he's running at you or someone or something else, if you can perpendicular shoulder check him, he'll tip. And that's it. That's game over.
And
He wouldn't be
Kool-Aid
running
really
at
isn't that
someone
heavy.
else though.
I guess these are one-on-ones.
I would say I think we may have overestimated ourselves by saying the Kool-Aid Man was a fair fight, but I don't think he would definitely beat our ass.
I guess we could bump him up one.
I think he
would
could be-
win, but we
That's
have
fair,
a shot.
yeah. If we
Fine.
take the average of all of our technical Dark Soul rolling abilities.
Yeah, and then we'll have like an inverse normal distribution.
That's
with
it.
The extremes being higher.
An abnormal distribution.
Yeah, exactly.
I went to the zoo today, and just seeing some of the animals, it really humbled me. And like without technology and just my bare fists, or maybe like a sword or a stick, I wouldn't stand a chance against most things.
Yeah, I mean,
we're
ostriches,
talking about-
you'd be fine.
Like a
with
flamingo
sword.
just flies into me, I'd be terrified.
Flamingo
Yeah.
also, that's a lot of target. Any of the necky birds are going to be, I think, less of a threat than you
Yeah.
think, if you have a sword especially. Slashing fight, not stabbing.
Oh, that's right.
Oh yeah, with a long neck bird, that's a
What do you
slash.
think is the strongest animal that you alone could take on with a sword, Hamza?
I might need some time to think on that. But if I had a sword, like a nice,
Just run of the mill, straight down the average, regular old sword.
I'd say I'd set like 50% of the time, I might be able to have a good chance at a bear.
A
Wow.
bear, that's a bold one-on-one. A sword
Yeah.
is a good weapon,
love
but
it.
a bear's a big enemy.
It is. But
Okay.
a sword's a big stabby.
Walk me through this. What's your strat? Are you getting charged by this bear?
Let's say
How do you picture this going down?
Okay, so
Lock eyes from across the room.
I've seen The Revenant. I've got a game plan.
if my dice roll is optimal, we're in like a gladiator arena. We both kind of are placed
I
in.
see.
We both parachute in.
No one,
Parachute.
Nice.
no one's given like momentum or an ambush on each other. We start standing or
Yeah,
on
like
all
both
fours.
in cages, and then the cages
The
lift.
bear is standing
like
and
that.
you're on all fours.
Just to fuck with them.
If I had like a lance,
You said sword.
We said sword.
if I had a sword and use it charge straight forward, I might be able to hit its throat face area, or if I miss, I'll be the one.
Dude, that's
That's
the
a
thing.
really
up.
that's a
If
bold
it's-
strategy.
If it's charging straight at me, am I not just like plunging sword like point first straight forward into it?
into the mouth, yeah.
I think if you can hit that target, you have a good chance of killing it.
Yeah, one-shotting a bear.
That's got to be the move, right?
But the thing
I-
is, when they move, I feel like they have so much bounce to their movement and stuff. They're not moving
they
in
don't have that
predictable
chicken
fashion.
gyroscope head.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and so I feel like hitting that target is still incredibly hard, and you're like scared
I don't
Yeah.
think a bear is what I would have said for my one-on-one max
with a
feat.
sword.
I don't think that would be what
Maybe
I can
I'm
handle.
underestimating or overestimating my ability.
No, you could do it. I believe in you. You could
It's
do
at least,
anything.
I think that's the point at which 50-50 is reached. Like, that's the bell curve. Anything under a bear is fair game, but like bear is kind of like,
You think
Like I think
bear's
I could,
the saddle
I think I
point?
could take a
Yeah.
wolf if I had a sword. One wolf.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
pack animals.
Yeah.
One-on-one, that might be good.
But
You
what
take
about
some
like a
damage, but you
trained
win.
police dog?
Oh, fucking Christ.
maybe.
Could a trained police dog beat a wolf in a fight? Like
Maybe.
those fucking dogs from John Wick 3. Like those super crazy, like German Shepherd looking, super athletic dogs.
Belgian Malinois.
Yeah. Could a trained combat Malinois beat a wolf? Beat
It's
your
trained.
run-of-the-mill wolf?
If
I
it's
don't know
trained
that they
in
get
wolf
much-
hunting abilities.
I don't know that they have much wolf fighting training per
Yeah.
se. They take very well to the human fighting training. There's a good chance, maybe just by like health and conditioning, they would maybe have the edge.
Yeah,
Those dogs
maybe.
are fucking
that's
nuts.
true,
Have you
yeah.
seen like when the ball's stuck in the tree and they go running up it and leap off 15 feet off the tree?
Yeah, they're like made of
20-foot
springs.
drops? It's nuts. These dogs run up walls and like jump over fences and
Yeah,
walk on ropes and shit.
I wonder if like the strength divide there is the same as human to chimp, because it is still dog to wolf. You know, are humans anything
No,
but
I
a
think that
domesticated
the
chimp?
biomechanics are closer between like a large breed, that type of dog, and a wolf. Like
Right.
the muscle and tendon connections are much farther up at their insertion points in chimpanzees relative to humans, which gives them much better leverage and, because of that, such improved strength.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a biomechanics thing. So I think that dogs mirror wolves more.
Okay, you think they're closer?
I think that they split off 10,000 years ago and we split from chimps 2 million years ago.
Yeah. I was gonna say I would love to see that fight, but that's like a pretty evil thing to say, and I could never condone dog fighting.
Yeah,
Maybe
maybe
you
not
saved
that.
yourself.
Yeah.
What are you, a falcon?
Yeah, something like that. MV baby.
All right, so let's take on some of the easier contenders,
Right.
Yeah, back to
or
this-
actually any of them at all.
Sure, yeah. Let's keep it meta.
Let's see, Count Chocula.
Yeah, that was another one that kind of gave us pause, you know? Like, he only eats chocolate, but he is also a vampire.
He's not made of chocolate, is he?
No,
No.
he's not. We
was gonna
confirmed
say.
that.
Yeah.
That would be a pretty easy one shot, but with the powers of a vampire.
The sun will fuck him up either way. Made of chocolate or just vampire.
So the problem with fighting Count Chocula is the time of day matters, because his optimal power, he's like the inverse of Escanor from Seven Deadly Sins. His optimal power is at night, whereas he is a weakling during the day. What time of day are you fighting him? Is this at twilight, dusk?
I would assume this would be in his Count Chocula castle.
Okay, his optimal conditions.
I would think so. Where else would he be?
Chocovania.
He doesn't leave, you know?
Cocovania?
Is that a thing, or was that made up?
I haven't heard of it before.
Oh, okay, me neither. Let's call it Cocovania. His Cocovanian castle is where we will be fighting this man, this vampire.
This almost seems like a cop out, but if it's on his conditions, he would probably kick my ass.
That's what I'm saying, right? Like I'm not who's the guy from Castlevania?
Simon?
Belmont. I'm not a Belmont, you know what I mean?
That's who's all the guys from...
From Castlevania, yeah, they're all Belmonts.
or Dracula's.
Yeah, very true. It's always one or the other.
How do you think you versus Chef Boyardee goes down?
I'm trying to locate him. Is he on the bottom?
Yeah,
He's on the bottom.
Third one on the bottom.
I'm inclined to say I would beat their ass, but I can't really remember a time where I've had a single Chef Boyardee product.
Oh, I've eaten a bunch of those.
Is Chef
Is he just a
Boyardee
frail old man?
soup? Or no, sorry.
I mean, he's a healthy old man. That's part of a balanced diet.
yeah.
But he is an old man.
like
An old man.
He's got
An old
he's
man.
a youthful spirit, though. I would say.
He's got a wooden
Okay.
spoon. Careful.
Yeah,
He rock climbs on the weekends, maybe.
Oh,
He
jeez.
he's got a great
With
attitude.
a mustache like that, I don't think so.
cooks for his wife.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Very
he loves his
gentlemanlike.
job. He loves his job.
Ah,
Passionate about his work, you could say.
Right.
he's definitely got the charisma to beat me. So he could arguably, on the same Mark Lopez tier, charm me with his love for life and spring in his step. Might be
Right.
able to. I'd say he might be bumped up one. He'd have a
You
shot.
think he has a shot?
I think Hamza has a lower impression of his combat skills than you and I do.
Maybe.
Possibly.
Although I might
We're,
be
we're 3 for
agreeing-
3 on this trend.
I
We can
might
keep
agree with
checking.
him on Chocula. I might think that I just don't stand a chance against a vampire.
It's a vampire fed entirely on sugar cereal. I don't think that he is operating at peak capacity.
Is a vampire's metabolism similar enough to a human where he
All they
gets-
digest is blood, and that sustains them. And he's eating chocolate cereal.
Okay, so
I don't think they have the same metabolism as people.
Right.
because
I'm
I
pretty
know
sure it's not a balanced diet to just suck down a couple of pints of O-.
He's definitely a character. I'm less familiar with his feats. It would require a further investigation, I would say. But that can be said of a lot of these things. Like, no, everyone else was pretty spot on. I think we did a great fucking job with this tier list.
I think Zane's right with me underestimating my abilities, because when I think of this, I'm almost picturing anyone who I'm fighting against as like a battle hardened, like ready for it. Whereas
Right.
I go into this as I'm chickening out of the fight almost. But I should really realistically think of, I've been training for this fight. Like, I want to
Right.
win.
You're at least ready to like protect yourself at all costs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It would help if I've been in a real like life or death fight.
Especially if it had been with elves or bunnies.
Did you ever like fight your brother?
You bring my brother into this?
I'm just saying. I used to get into fights with my brother.
Yeah,
I know
same.
Zane did. Like, you said you never been in like like life or death. Like, no,
Yeah.
almost no one has. But like, that's not true. Most people haven't. But yeah, like a very angry like fist fight. Like, have you been in one before? Whether it is with like your brother or someone else.
I've been in a very very swift altercation with one of my friends at UConn actually.
Those are tense.
Yeah, it was a really weird situation. Basically, we were all going up Busby Mountain, which is just like this 30-degree
Right, I know what you're talking about.
incline in the
Yeah.
sno.
Bitch on a bike.
Oh god.
I've biked that once.
I drove it once.
I feel like you weren't allowed to.
Definitely not.
Oh no, but do it anyways. No one's
Yeah.
up there. We weren't paying attention.
Dude,
to our
driving
pace.
on not the road was always the most baller thing to do in
Between-
college. Like driving
Huge
through
flags.
Busby
flags.
and Husky Village.
Oh yeah, that
The
was another
secret
one.
path quotes.
Yep.
Oh, man.
on that grass.
Yeah.
I pulled out backwards because I came headlight to headlight with a cop who was parked halfway down it, and I just backed out of the road.
I got so lucky.
and he didn't follow me.
I've
it was
never
cool.
I've never had trouble on that road, and I know people who have gotten screwed taking
yeah.
that path.
I never stopped, but I did see those cops that once, and I was always terrified. I was looking way ahead before I took it.
Yeah.
I remember Danny, Jorge, and not
Yes.
Jorge and
Yeah.
we all had, well, Danny and I had Wranglers, and Jorge has the Grand Cherokee. And in a very snow-filled Husky Village parking lot, we were doing donuts after a snowstorm. And right as Danny pulls out of a donut in front of me, I see him go in a straight line. So I'm like, wait, why is this happening? Look to the left. Cruiser pulling in through the same parking lot.
Oh my god.
So
No.
I pull out of my donut just easy and follow Danny out of the parking lot at that time. Jorge does not notice, continues to do 2 or 3 more, which I see in my rearview mirror as the cop pulls up to him.
Oh no, dude.
And the 2 of us that had just noticed and rolled out scooted right away real quiet.
Yeah, seriously.
No problem.
I wish I knew Danny, but it sounds like a Danny thing to just be the first one to notice
Yeah.
and get out of there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. He's very alert. He's very astute.
And Jorge pulled a very Zane thing to do what you're not supposed to at the worst possible moment
Right.
when everyone's paying attention. That is the story of my disciplinary history through middle and high school, let me tell you. Everybody's being jack-offs, and then as the teacher turns, I'm the one prominently on display.
I am the jack-offist.
I'd be the most jack-offing at that time.
But you were saying you were walking up Busby Mountain.
And it was with a group of friends. So I have a very strong hatred towards the snow living in New England my whole life.
How dare you?
I've just been antiquated with it for so long. I'm sick of it. I hate
Yeah,
shoveling.
Not a snow guy.
I get sick too easily every year. So we were going up this hill, and my buddy, who will remain unnamed, let's call him Liler.
Who
And-
could it possibly
I
be?
wonder. My mind's racing.
Wait, what's that backwards?
So I was carrying my friend Trap on my
Okay.
back,
Sick.
and
We got Ryler and Trap.
Ryler and Trap, or Liler or whatever. So
Liler.
Liler thought it would be fun to push me and Trap over into the snow. I got my socks wet in like shoes that I had double knotted. So I proceeded to backhand him.
Yes, well deserved, I would say.
And that's
entirely in your right.
So then he tackled me into the snow. My glasses went flying, and that's when I was at a disadvantage.
Right,
So
yeah, that's rough.
Take the lower of two rolls.
luckily, my friend Sikorsky got involved, and he was able to break up the fight, get my glasses, and we were honestly like, I like getting in those really quick bouts because it's over, and I'm very quick to apologize and make things less awkward, and it was fine after
But
that.
you like getting into those bouts, or you would prefer it to a
him an
long
option
thing?
to apologize.
Yeah, like I would prefer. I don't mind the quick bouts and then being able to make up and be better from the kind of improve from it.
As opposed to not having a physical fight, but tension being dragged out for a long period.
Something like that, yeah.
Was there tension before he pushed you, or was he just being a dick
Sounds
out of
immediate.
nowhere?
His personality was kind of just like messing around, but that was just too much for me. I hated the snow. And
Right.
Socks were wet.
Yeah, I see.
Favorite socks.
Yeah, I don't know what.
I don't think I've ever had to fight a friend. I mean, not since middle school.
Yeah.
I was
in
like
my
20
neighborhood
years
in
old.
middle school, sometimes airsoft gunfights got a little bit fucking heated. And that happens, but not since middle school. I don't think physical fight with Carter maybe once or twice in high school, but not often. And otherwise, yeah, nothing since like middle school.
Yeah, get in a fight.
Considering the number of times I've been a bouncer,
Yeah.
very few fights.
Right.
None in recent years.
Dude, nobody wants to fight me.
I wonder why.
You're a national champion wrestler.
No one wants to fight
Go out
me.
asking people to fight you.
You're
No,
such a
there,
fightable face.
no, I do try to avoid fights as much as possible.
Absolutely, it's
I
not a
remember
good
one
idea.
time when I was working at Huskies, this dude on the football team was like just being a real like jackass, just like
Like they do.
yeah, like he like had a beer in his hand and he was just like whipping it around in the air and like beer was going all over everybody and he was just jumping around and being loud and aggressive and everything. And the bartender was like, yeah, he's got to go. And I was like, all right, word. And so I like walk up to him and his group of friends, a bunch of other football players and stuff. And I'm like, hey, man, you got to go. He's like, what? I was like, yeah, you got to go. And he's just like, no. And I see him like visibly so angry that he's like grabbing his beer bottle with both hands and shaking like just absolutely steaming mad. And he's a big dude, you know? I'm just like, oh, fuck. What? This guy's about to explode or something. Carter actually comes over to help. And then, thank God, one of his teammates, this, like, cool-ass dude, just, like, comes, like, hey, man, let's just get out of here to the guy and whatever.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, seriously.
God
Like,
bless
one of his,
one-headed
like...
friend.
One of his like super big teammates was just like, yeah, man, let's get out of here. And so then like me and one or two other bouncers like walked the two of them out, and like the guy was able to make a joke out of it, like, yeah, I'm getting kicked out, ain't that some shit, whatever, because this other guy had like diffused him. I was like, I was not looking to get into a fight right there because this motherfucker had some crazy eyes and he was big.
Now, this is in stark contrast to when I knew you last year, in which you wanted to get in a fight.
Oh, I always romanticize the idea of myself being in fights. Like, that's fucking such a cool idea to win a fight. Like, that's awesome. And I know that I could probably, like, handle myself decently in most random combat situations. I don't actually hope that they ever happen. But there's some part of my lizard brain that is, like, seeking glory and wants
Justify all
wants
of
to
this
best
training.
foes, like, out in the real world.
I was staying consistent to the zoo theme. I was going towards the elephant exhibit and noticed that the Carthaginians would ride those things for miles. And I don't know, you would fare very well in like the old Hannibal time frame, ancient Greek, like wanting
When
to
he was
fight glory.
13 inches taller than their average soldier.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
When he outweighed their best fighting men by 100
I mean,
pounds.
maybe. Yeah. Maybe. I feel like people weren't people that size for a reason.
Nutrition, yeah.
Oh.
You don't get vitamins.
Good
But
parasite.
also, that's epigenetic
You're
too.
you're
So
talking
even
about-
with poor nutrition, it's not like you would shrink. Were you back then?
Yeah.
Like generations, not many, but generations of improved nutrition have led to taller, healthier populations.
Our good friend Alan, friend of the podcast, need to get him on one of these
Not a tall
days.
guy.
I can't believe we haven't. He commented on one of our episodes where we were speaking about essentially this idea of going back in time and being hot shots or whatever we
Always
say.
a fun concept.
But like, we would have to spend a good amount of time learning whatever the language is there, because we probably have no familiarity with it.
Full and total immersion.
Yeah,
Spoken Latin would be real fucking hard, but at least I'd be able to somewhat get by on written.
yeah.
If we went back to Rome and converted in a day.
Is that the language you took in high school?
Yeah, I took 4 years of Latin.
Wow.
Ooh.
I'm a big fan of languages. I'm not very good at them, but I'm currently juggling daily, and I'm at like 450 days or something. Spanish, French, Swedish, and German.
At the same time?
Mm-hmm. But I do 2 of Spanish because I'm hoping to get fluent enough to take medical Spanish in med school and be able to put that to use in communities.
Do you see yourself moving out of the United States someday?
Very possibly, although likely not permanently. I would like to do a year rotation at maybe a European teaching hospital where I could be a guest professor for a year or something and practice medicine in another country. It would be cool to have some mobility. I like, especially after the countries that I did have the opportunity to visit, I definitely still feel a sort of romantic longing to go back and to see more countries.
Oh, that's so cool.
So I
course.
would like to keep some international mobility in my career and life plans.
Mm.
I think that would include like short-term living. Like I could do 3 or 4 years in 2 or 3 countries and then come back to New England or something. I would actually really like that. Something that does cross my mind.
Dude, moving even off the coast, I was like watching something about that recently. Like, what are the living expenses like in Europe, or are they pretty much comparable to where they are here?
More taxes, I've heard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
literally. They
A
run
lot.
a little bit farther on the democratic socialism scale.
Yeah.
I mean, I lived in Sweden, where it's a good example of being a little bit farther on that scale.
Mm-hmm.
And I did find that the direct relative cost of living was higher. For example, the cost of a gallon of milk was maybe 40, 50%, 60% higher than in America. The cost of like fresh produce and stuff, especially because like they do a lot of farming, but there's also a ton of imported food. So it just kind of costs more. My apartment wasn't too bad because it was subsidized by the school. And that is, I think, the balance where those European communities kind of make up the cost. For me, it was reflected in the subsidized housing, but for, say, a native Swede, it's in the free healthcare, in the free education. My friend who goes to university in Berlin pays more each semester for her commuter pass for the trains than she does for tuition.
Wow.
It's like 160 euros a semester to stay registered, but the tuition is otherwise free. So, like, I think that it, weirdly enough, my best guess of it would be that if you were there for the long haul, it might be more comparable in terms of the amenities and services that you get for the cost. If you're there for a short term, it is probably more expensive.
So
Yeah.
what if, this always crossed my mind, but let's say the idea of living somewhere you get paid kind of proportionately to the value of their like currency, their dollar. If you made money somehow online, kind of remotely in the United States, like let's say you're a YouTuber, you primarily pay taxes in the United States, but you live in, let's say, a country with a lower cost of living, or like,
I think that your,
how does that work?
like, YouTube taxes and payments would be based on the region that you live in. I don't think that you're making like America input. Like, I think British YouTubers are earning pounds. I think that that's probably more region based, but I don't know for sure.
Like, let's say you can somehow hack the system and make money solely through Bitcoin. Like, I was actually looking at applications to work at Coinbase, which is like the number one trader. So you could opt to get paid in Bitcoin, and I don't see that being changed through your region because that's a universal.
That I think is different from what you get as a YouTube person, where it is like regionalized currency. Yeah, blockchain, it might work like that, but then you are earning blockchain for your whatever service at the earning Bitcoin for your work or whatever at the international value of it. You're not earning it at like the American value of Bitcoin versus the South African. Because it is not tied to a region, I don't think you can spoof regional cost differences in that way. Like, I think that kind of defeats itself as a scenario.
Yeah, but as far as streamers and stuff, yeah, I mean, YouTube and Twitch aren't paying in Bitcoin. You know
Not
what I
yet,
mean?
at least.
Not yet. Maybe one day, but
We could see. Maybe by the next time that we see you guys back on this podcast.
yeah, maybe we'll be getting paid in Bitcoin pretty soon.
Ooh.
I've been getting some ads when I see your videos, so
Hey, we're not seeing any of that money,
Jesus,
but good
yeah.
to
Really?
know.
That's just YouTube monetizing us. How dare you? Now we can be
Yeah.
part of the complaining streamers.
Yeah, absolutely. YouTube is ruining our art, dude. Send us Bitcoin.
truly circled around.
Yeah,
We'll provide the wallet address next time on
a couple of fellas.